Guys, the chicken is here. We are back today with another home gym video. In today's video, guys, what I wanted to talk about was with the impending lockdown that seems to be never going away, I felt like it'd probably be a pretty good time to just go over exercises that you can do with extremely minimal or no equipment at all, just in your house. So, I guess first we'll go over what you can do if you have nothing and you're unwilling to spend anything on any equipment because you plan on going back to the gym relatively soon. So there's a couple trains of thoughts here. There's that. There's very cheap stuff you can buy that can actually provide you a pretty decent amount of value. So we'll talk about that next, and then we'll talk about what you would need to start a home gym depending on how much storage I have in my camera. That's always the limiting factor here. So, what you can do without any equipment whatsoever. So, for your legs, it's going to be tough. But if you can find something that's heavy, if you can even just grab a pail of water and you can do bodyweight squats or kind of like a goblet squat. Because, I mean, if you have a 25-pound plate, you can knock out goblet squats all day long. And, it's not really going to build you muscle, but it's definitely going to help preserve. I made that mistake when I was off, when I wasn't training. I just said, screw it. I'm going to wait till my stuff comes in. And, I fired it around a little bit with some home workouts, but I just didn't have the discipline to stick to them. So, I mean, between cardio, you can do some sort of loaded squat, but you can add a band to it. I mean, you got to get really creative, right? But say you don't even have bands. So there's goblet squats. There's lunges. You can find an old backpack and throw a bunch of old books in it or something like that to give you a little bit of resistance. And with that, you can do lunges. You can do step ups. You find a box or a chair that's supportive. You can do step ups. That's going to help your legs. In terms of something that would mimic a deadlift, stuff where you would need a decent amount of weight. You can find stuff outside. If you're in an apartment building, it would be tough. What you could do, you go to the hardware store and you could get a few bags of sand and you could get a bucket, maybe get 2 of them, and then at least you're able to practice kind of somewhat of a deadlift motion just holding those buckets. We're talking about a few weeks here just so you don't lose too much muscle memory and just something to do so you kind of feel good and, hopefully break a sweat and that kind of thing. So there's some ideas. Of course, cardio, you can go run anywhere. You can go run outside. Some people here are getting tickets for that, which is a bit strange, but I mean, you can do jumping jacks. When I first started working out, I just did jumping jacks. That's all I did. I did hundreds of them, and they work. They get your heart up. You will get a sweat out of it. Jumping jacks are great. Obviously, there's sit-ups, crunches, push-ups, push-ups with a weight, push-ups with a backpack on, with some weight in it, whatever you can find, with a bucket on your back. And that's going to be great. You can get really creative with push-ups too. And I know I'm showing you this on a squat rack, so it's kind of hypocritical, but I mean, literally anything in your house, your garage, or your shed, you can do them from different angles, and you can get a pretty good, chest squeeze, and you can work your arms pretty well simply just with doing push-ups. Now, if you were willing to spend under $50, for 6 weeks for $50, you can really add a lot. So my first recommendation would be some sort of resistance band, because that's really going to open up your exercise selection to, like a million things. So with bands, you can do rows, you can do push downs, you can do pressing motions, you can loop them around your back, you can do good moorings, you can do basically everything that we just talked about. You can add a band to it. A band is the most story's getting low. It's the most versatile piece of gym equipment that you can own. That's also super, super cheap. You can get a pack them from pretty well anywhere for, around $50. Next, I would say, I'm going to say this really quickly, get some black iron pipe from the hardware store, get some threaded connections for it, drill those into a wall somewhere or a floor joist, and you got a pull-up bar. You got a nice pull-up bar too. That's not going to go anywhere. That's going to be sturdy as hell. You can get normal pull-up bars as well that are made for rafters. Guys, I got to run. Thank you so much for watching. That's going to wrap it up. Make sure to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.